Hello, and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Oh, yeah.
And to my left, Anthony Fisher.
Hey.
And last but not least, Morgan McMurray.
Hey, guys.
With the wonderful Windows XP backdrop. Loving that thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we had ourselves a weekend. I'm tired because mine was mostly spent doing yard work. I don't know about you guys, but a little physical labor does the body good.
What kind of yard work did you do, Dane? Take out the trash or change out some light bulbs?
No, like cutting shrubs to make space to get back behind things. I have a pole saw now. I cut down some
the best chainsaw on a stick, as I call it.
Yeah, it's a chainsaw on a stick. That's right. But in addition to that, I'm digging up the basically where the old tree was in front of my house. I want to put a new tree in there, so I got to dig up all the old stuff. So,
what kind of tree are you going to put in? An elm, an ash, maybe a walnut tree?
What I'm debating, if I go for a deciduous or an evergreen. An evergreen doesn't give you a lot of coverage early on, but I like evergreens. So it's kind of hard for me to pick, but the one before was
a heavy sapping evergreen.
I'm trying to avoid having anything drop too much sap, which an evergreen, you're right, would. But I don't want something that's going to dump a bunch of leaves.
Perhaps a catalpa.
So non-deciduous is what I prefer.
Yeah, but a catalpa would drop those big, huge leaves and those bean pods. So much easier to pick up. You could play fetch with Callie with some of those bean pods that it drops. You could throw them. Well, Liz could decorate the house with those.
Festive.
Lots of fun things. But a very fast growing tree. Also, roots grow straight down. So you could put it close to the house or close to the driveway. Not going to break or damage any of your concrete.
Well, the nice thing about where the tree was located before was it actually has like nice concrete curbing around it. It's like a designated tree area in the yard. It's like this little, basically specific pod where you can put one. And I got to dig down, but of course there's still roots from the previous tree there. I got to put in some stump out and stuff.
Yeah.
Just this weekend, all I got to do, because it was so freaking hot out there after a while, was just, well, the tree is gone, but there's still a stump. So I put that stump out stuff on it. But basically it's a whole bunch of like grass and other like flowers and stuff growing around it. I got to clear those out, shovel a lot of that soil out. I got myself a cart. Basically, I spent a lot of time at Home Depot.
A wheelbarrow or a cart?
A yard cart. Yeah, not a wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow is a bit too big and ungainly. I don't need something that takes up that much space when really I can make do with a more vertical arrangement that holds a lot of volume vertically.
So was this a job that you and the lawn boy teamed up on, or was this just a solo project?
Oh, this is just me out there doing it.
Feels good to get in there.
I plan on putting stain on the fence next weekend, maybe.
Ooh,
I'm dressing things up.
Are you gonna pressure wash the fence before you do it?
Oh, what? Yeah. I have my power washer, my super tough power washer from.
You definitely want to pressure wash it before you stain it.
Yeah,
I'm excited about all
there's no point in doing it
happening at the Great Dane Films HQ. It's going to be really quite possibly a destination spot.
Well, I was doing a little research on how to pour my own, concrete. I know how to make concrete in general, but I'm looking at like maybe doing concrete slabs behind my garage.
Yeah. Just random slabs.
For me, it's
play leapfrog.
It's basically what's going to be the lowest maintenance thing I could do to the back and replace a lot of the areas where there's currently like weeds and crap growing that I constantly have to weed. Just replace it with a concrete slab, maybe eventually design a garage door in the back of my garage so I can put stuff back there, have a little extra covered area. I don't have to do an addition to the house, but
do that first. Do the garage door, then lay the concrete.
Of course, it'd have to be thick enough to support a vehicle, but...
Well, Dane, what you do is you dig down about 6 inches into the ground, put about 2.5 inches of road mix. Then you're going to lay down some metal wiring.
Yeah, you put rebar or
build some
wire.
Well, no, you don't need rebar because it's just a car, and it's just a pad. I'd throw down a little rat footing along the edge, which is where you dig down at an angle, and in the corners, so that way when the concrete goes like this. The concrete flows into those spots, giving you a little more of a footing. I used to do that with my dad back in the day. So
that's not happening right away, but that is
over. I can send him over. He's great at digging holes and building out patio spaces. It's my dad makes him do. So
well, I saw he was looking for Roomba advice this weekend, so I popped in.
Yeah, that's weird.
Roomba?
My brother wanted to buy a Roomba and was asking why and if he needed one. And
I laughed about that.
His house is about 1,000 square feet, and it's all hardwood.
I mean, that's basically what I got is 1,400 square feet with a bunch of hardwood everywhere. But in my case, it works. It's just I explained to him, I got it as a Christmas present. I didn't pay for it myself. They're not exactly cheap. And I don't normally ask for Christmas presents, but that was something where I was like, let me see what happens if I ask for this. And sure enough, it appeared. And I went, great, thank you. And I put it to work. But you don't need it. You don't. Although it was funny hearing his commentary where it's like, I spent a lot of time indoors recently, not going a lot of places. And my cleaning habits haven't changed. He wanted something to do the work for him. And I told him, it doesn't matter how much that little robot cleans. You still have to empty it out at the end.
Yep.
And you still have to look after it. You have to maintain it in case it gets all wrapped up in dog fur, whatever.
Yeah. Thankfully, he has no dogs. He's only got 2 cats, but.
Cat fur can do stuff too, but still.
It's
I don't see that changing his situation very much.
No. So
but I gave him my review anyway, just because he was looking for him. So I was like, I got one. I'll tell you about it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Dane, what else did you do this weekend?
That was pretty much the extent of it. Killing hornets and wasps too. I mean, it's basically.
Oh man, did you beat them with a shovel?
Full meal deal. No, used a 20-foot spray. Stood about as far back as I could because they were ready to chase me as soon as I did it. So.
Oh, I bet they were probably just watching.
My move was to go stand out in 80-degree weather with my hoodie, my insulated hoodie, and my hood up, and sunglasses on, ball cap, and full-length pants. I was basically dressed up so they couldn't sting me. And I said, you know what, you little effers, here we go. And then I got into the backyard.
You look like Lebowski is what you were doing.
That or the Unabomber, whichever you choose.
Good.
But basically, I went out prepared to do battle.
Oh man, I would have loved to have seen a video of that. He's recording it.
So that was fun.
Nice. So you're gonna put a tree in the front yard. You've been taking out bushes and shrubs and stuff.
Yeah.
In the side yard, putting that truck to use, and then you want to do a back garage door on the back of the garage into the backyard.
That's really long term. I don't know if I'm doing that too soon.
If you think about that, Dane, that's like to do one of those, you could cut out the hole in the wall yourself. We're getting into the warmer time to where you could actually cut that area out, measure it out, cut it out, and then you could probably do the bracing and stuff yourself with some 2x4s. Or even like a 2x6 header or 2x8 header on the top, and then you could just have a door, and you could do a lightweight door without a motor for like $1,000.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Was like a roll-up door, like a storage unit style.
You could do that, or you could go fancy, spend like $3,000, get a glass door. Put that like a little 8-foot or 10-foot, it's not a very big door, but enough that you could put like that little truck through, or back the truck up in the garage. Then you've got that space right there with the door open. You could put things in and out.
The appeal would be I could park things there without having to keep them in the front driveway. But
exactly.
The hard part is
I think
I've got a neighbor with there aren't many 2-story houses in my neighborhood. It's a lot of single levels, but my back neighbor, despite the tree and everything, does have a second level. So I don't know if I want to leave glass there or not, but I mean, it's whatever.
What are they going to do? Look, they've got glass on the back of their house. Do you sit back there and look in their house a lot?
No. No.
Okay.
No, it's just for the extra cost. I don't see a whole lot of benefit.
Well, what I'm seeing it is more glass on the inside of the garage. So you could even, if I don't know which way the sun sits in your house, but you could tint it. And it just gives you more natural light in the garage, especially if you do your whole
Yeah, the back of my garage faces east.
Garage redo.
So yeah.
I mean, it's just more light
situation.
Yeah, no, I more light in the garage. So, or you could do like Anthony's and have just the windows across the top of the door.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps bring in some light, especially if it's a east facing. In the mornings you have a lot of nice light, and then
Well, I like natural light, although the problem with my garage is the one window I have is just on the side, on the north facing side. So it never really has light coming in. I wanted to basically put blinds on it and then have controlled light where it's just lights in the garage, but have a bunch of LED panels, the thin kind.
Yeah, I like it. I'm excited. I'd love to help you in this endeavor in designing the new Great Dane Films HQ. Photography studio and video producing facility.
Never know.
/ mailroom storage facility.
The thing is, I have so much room there, and I'm just not using it. It feels like a wasted opportunity. So
I know how
back
you feel.
area,
I still have a ton of room here that I need to move more of this stuff out of the garage and into my shed and into my storage room. And I've got
it's literally like another 900,000 square feet behind the garage that I'm just
900,000.
900,000.
900 to 8,000.
That's huge.
I knew
Dane.
You had a big house, Dane. I didn't know the house was that big. 900,000 square feet.
Sure.
That's like I think what is that? That's almost the size of the Omni in Denver. Pretty sure.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised.
That sound right, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean I would say it's pretty nuts. I mean, definitely enough room for the mother-in-law to eventually move in, and then even me, I'll move in.
Yeah, we could all.
That's like the world's worst "Yo Mama So Fat" joke.
We could all be on our own floor. Really quite nice.
Okay, so I think I've made my point. Now, that said, I think that pretty much sums up my weekend. Mostly just cleaning up around the place, things I haven't done in a while, basic maintenance. I got myself a ladder finally, so I can get up on my roof.
What kind of ladder? 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot?
It's one of those
A-frame ladder. Is it a like a variable style that can?
I was gonna say, allow me to explain. It is a variable, so it's not just a long ladder. It's not just an A-frame. It's the fold mini.
Oh, I love it.
Whatever. Ooh, got it at Costco. It's like $160, but basically, it's like fully extendable up to 15.
Is it a little giant?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That is a rad ladder. I'm really looking forward to using that more because I actually found, wow, this is really versatile. So
I have one as well. It is a great ladder. I also have a 10-foot A-frame ladder, and I use the two of them to get on my roof, to climb up high spots in my house. It's great. Use it all over.
Yeah, so I got one of those, and I'm definitely going to be using that a lot. So I looked up on my roof, though. Not as many branches as I thought. There was only one up there. I thought I saw more, but it was actually a bunch of like little bitty branches that broke off from other branches, so they didn't really count as a branch.
So
but
did you get all those cleared off? Did you get your broom out there?
You just sweep them off. Problem is now I notice when I'm up there, my gutters, I've had these gutter guard things on there for like the last 10 years. I've lived in this house since 2011, so it's been a minute. I have actually never cleaned my gutters. I have never cleaned my gutters on it because I had the little grid gutter guards.
To take care of that.
Wow, you make it sound so bougie.
You give him a list, right? You give him a list of things to do every week, and he comes in. And,
no, he literally cuts my yard.
Sure,
and
the
that's
azaleas are in good shape. Picks up dog poo.
All I requested was cleaning the yard, mowing the lawn. That's it.
Oh,
so up on the gutters with the guards, you find that it blocks out branches and stuff. But what I think a lot of people who have those don't realize is sediment and stuff gets through, dirt builds up, a lot of that stuff. It seems obvious in retrospect, but I bet a lot of people don't realize, just because you put that on there doesn't mean stuff doesn't get through. So
you got to think about your roof is usually asphalt or sand.
Yeah, stuff's always kind of sloughing off.
Over time, it sloughs down, so they fill up.
Yeah, so that's probably my mission next weekend is to clean those out, among other stuff, which will take a minute, but I don't want any, wasp building nests or anything in there. So,
yeah, get them before they happen. I know you're not a big fan of honey, so you don't want them wasps around your house.
Pretty sure they aren't responsible for honey, but sure. any rate, why doesn't somebody else take the helm now? Let's see. What did you do, Morgan?
My weekend was actually pretty similar to yours, Dane. I went over to my parents' house, and my mom needed some help with some porch decorations and just some minor, not really home improvement, but just like decor kind of stuff. So she had some new lanterns, like outdoor hanging lanterns that she wanted to get cleaned up and put out. And then she also has like a wood chair project that she wants me to try and tackle. So I told her, I said, I will absolutely do that for you. So I came over and hosed it off, and then I had to go to Lowe's to try and get like the stain and the, protective coat and like brushes and all the stuff that I needed for that. And then so that didn't dry because it was sunny, but it was also like cloudy on, I think, Saturday. So it didn't dry all the way. So I told her that I'll have to come back one day after work this week to stain that and get that all finished. And then since we were all just hanging out outside because it was nice, my dad showed me how to fix the sprinklers because there was one that my brother ran over with the lawnmower. So he was showing me how to fix it. And that was very fun. We got all the sprinklers working for this year, which is really exciting. So I was glad to be a part of that.
Nice.
And then we have, it's not like a regular pine tree. It's like one of those like long needle, soft needle pine trees.
Okay.
I don't know like what variation those are, but there's one of those. It's like at the front of the house, kind of by the mailbox. And there was a ton of pine needles and pine cones and all that. So I was helping my dad clean those up, and then my hands were covered in sap and it was a mess, but we got it done. So if anyone has recommendations of how to get the rest of the pine needles out of the bark, that would be great. Because it wasn't going the best. So yeah, so there's that. Yeah, and then I was rewarded with Chick-fil-A for dinner around 5. And then that was pretty much it. Sunday I just did chores here, and now we're here.
Okay. Sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty nice little weekend. Dane, why is your background upside down?
So what I've noticed is, and this goes for anybody who's using Zoom, I'm on my computer, but since I'm on a Mac, I can pull from my... Okay, hold on. So I'm on my Mac, so I'm pulling from my iCloud, and it pulls photos directly from my phone. So I thought, okay, I'll pop that on there. What I've noticed is every single time I do it, if it's not a picture I pulled from the internet, if it's something I took with my phone, it is always upside down when I load it into Zoom. Always.
Well, that's because you take pictures upside down. I need you to just, there's
literally every time.
Just flip them over and just spin it around. You can rotate the photo in Zoom.
Okay, so I have a mirror my video. That is not it. So I don't know where you rotate it.
The settings in there and the photos. Yeah, I was on it the other day.
Well, the picture is upright when you look in iCloud. That's the thing.
Morgan, I was doing that same thing after I got done detailing the car, was cleaning pine needles from in front of our house. The storms the last few days and the wind, like our tree that's next to us in our neighbor's yard that hangs over and spits sap all over my cars. It has been losing, like, a majority of its needles are already dead. They're just still on the tree. And so a ton of them have been dropping, and I've just I had just handfuls, and my kids and wife, everybody was out there walking around barefoot the other day, and they're all getting poked and stabbed by them. And so
yikes.
I finally got all those cleaned up yesterday, but and then it rained this morning and is kind of windy over here. So,
I think it's still raining at my house right now.
Yeah, it's raining here right now.
So, but I did a project this weekend. I worked on a 99 Mustang GT convertible with 130,000 miles. I looked up the Kelly Blue Book on it. It was about $2,500.
Wow.
And but the story is, so it was so my best friend growing up in high school and all that, I refer to him as my brother. It's his mom's car. And in 99, his parents bought that thing brand new. And so we were 19 years old. They bought that brand new, and we thought that was the coolest thing ever because, you know, you're 19 and one of your buddy's parents buy a convertible Mustang brand new with the
rich
4.6
basically
in it. Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's got leather and a 5-speed and it's convertible, you know. And, you know, all of our parents, like, you know, one of our friends, his parents had like a 1980 Civic wagon and like a Ford and a Honda, like a 97 or 98 Honda Odyssey minivan. Our other friends had like a 1980 Ford Econoline van. Another friend of ours, his mom had like a 96 Subaru Legacy 4-door, like with hubcaps, you know. My dad had his Supra, an 85 Supra, but that was the coolest thing. But I had totaled that when I was 17, or 18. And so like none of us had like a cool car that our parents would let us, you know, take out or whatever. So I remember when they pulled up in this, they just bought it and they brought it through Mainstream Touchless Car Wash, which is where I was working and my buddy was working. And I remember I was 19, I was the manager, and I was so stoked when they rolled up and we were like, we're going to wax it for you. Like we ran it through the car wash. The thing was black. Ran it through our touchless wash, brought it around, and then we laid some Pro La Cera Amarilla on it and, you know, put it on, put the paste wax on, you know, applied it all, or the liquid wax all over it. And then we took our big random orbital shaker, like the one I have in my office, and with the bonnet and would, you know, buff it all off. We're getting wax all over the plastic trim. And it was just funny to think back to being 19 years old that summer, cleaning that car, waxing that car when it pulled out of the little detail shop that we were in, and going like, man, we're masters of we're titans of this industry. Look at what we've accomplished. We're going to be world renowned because of this hand wax that we just put on, this $30 hand wax that we just applied after we ran it through the car wash on this brand new car. I can't believe we waxed a brand new car. It was just funny to be sitting in my garage 21 years later, and you know, I'm really actually working on it and getting it cleaned up for her. So long story short, they got divorced, her and her husband, and she got it in the divorce. She's you know, like a second mom, and so she's been wanting me to detail this thing for 5 years since she got it, and in the divorce, and it's been 5 years, and she's been saving up some money. I gave her a price, and it's been 5 years, and she finally asked me, can you do it? Can you clean it up for me? And so needless to say, she kept it in really good shape. But over the years, the paint was very dry because it's just been run through a car wash. It hasn't been, you know, properly waxed. However, it's been garage. So roof was in great shape. The convertible top was in great shape. All the, you know, electronics worked, everything. There's a cut in the leather, which I could have repaired, but I didn't have all the equipment to do it. Missing a couple things in the color lock kit that I need to order so that I could repair that section of the seat for, just to prevent it from splitting more. She really, like, she jokes with me. She's like, I drive that car on the weekends, and she named it Ruby. And so it's just fun. It was really fun working on that. And one, reminiscing, but two, you know, there was a lot of inherent abilities or problems in the car. Lacquer check, because it's a 90s Ford, tons of lacquer check on it. The scratching and the paint was so deep. I probably could have wet sanded a lot of spots out, but I probably wouldn't have had a lot of clear left. So I ended up one-stepping it with yellow wool. I did a couple test spots. I did a low lint wool pad with Supreme Cut, Oberk Supreme Cut, followed by an orange foam and Supreme Polish, Oberk's polish. And did a section, and then I did another section with the Uno Protect, the Rupes Uno Protect, and a yellow wool. And I did 2 test spots, and I had Carly come out and look at it, and I asked her which side looked better, which was more deep and looked good with the light, and she couldn't tell a difference, which meant that was good enough for me. And I was able to one-step the whole car for and that saved me time, but it gave a really nice heavy gloss, really nice shine. Then I put crystal sealant over the top, and then I quick detailered before I drove it back to her house. But when she saw it, she was speechless. She kept saying, like, "This is the best it's ever looked. Oh my gosh, I can't believe," and I'm walking around and there's lacquer checking, there's scratches around it. She gets out and dings the side of the car, because she's in a smaller garage, and so it just happens. And but it was fun to see how excited she was to see that car looking that way. And so it was just it was a fun weekend for that. And then trim my beard up. It's a lot smaller and shorter.
Looks a little cleaned up.
Yeah. So got that going. I also got a new regulator for that door. There you go, on the Suburban, because that window doesn't work and just falls down randomly. And so I got a whole new regulator system to hook up.
No more airbag.
Yeah, so I'll take the airbag out and the shim and all that I've kept in it to try and keep it down. I'll pull the tint off, clean the glass, and then I'll probably see. I saw a guy on Facebook doing some tinting, so I might just see what it costs to tint that one window again. The whole truck needs retinted, but it's dark enough. It's your parents. I don't know if your parents had it tinted, Dane, or it was tinted by the previous owner.
If I recall correctly, there was tint already in the glass from the factory on the rear set of windows, plus the big rear windows. But they did have some sort of tint. The tint that you see on the truck was there when my dad got the truck, because I remember remarking when he got it, holy crap, these front windows are so dark you can't even see out of them at night. And that's the way it was when he bought it. Yeah.
So it's got 2 layers of tint. So it's got factory tint on the rear glass all the way around, and then it's got a second layer of tint all over everything. So those back glass, and the passenger back are dark. You can't see in them. But the very back glass, the tailgate glass, is just standard.
Right.
And then
that's
the front
factory
glass,
tint.
but then the front glass they tinted. So so anyway, but it's 20 years old. It's starting to turn purple. And
I would
it's
guess it's 15% or so darkness.
Yeah. It's pretty dark. Good. Yeah.
So it's really dark. So, but basically that's my project this week is I want to get the door window motor replaced, or the regulator replaced, so I can go up and down. Hopefully I can get that working. I put in new LED license plate lights in the bumper. Extremely bright, probably brighter than they should be. I'm a little worried about that. I haven't seen it at night yet. So
yes, officer, please double, triple check my registration.
I might as well bought one of those like off-road light bars and thrown it in there.
He's a mile away checking it from 3 lights back, going, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, it's bright. And then I replaced the front DRLs with LEDs. And so they are very bright as well. Carly said because they weren't turning on, and then I remembered the truck had to be in drive. So I was in the vehicle with my foot on the brake, put on drive, and was like, okay, Carly, stand in front of it. Tell me if the lights are on.
Looked to see lately, but like GMs from the mid 2000s are famous for like one light on one side of the DRLs burning out and then the other always being on. So when you replaced them, was it because one was burned out, or were they both working?
No, they were both working. Oh, so I just replaced them with LEDs.
He wants a badass rig is what he wants.
But I mean, okay, anybody who's wondering, go out, watch on the road. Just look around.
Totally.
Every single like mid 2000s Chevy pickup SUV, whatever, one's burned out on one side.
easiest lights to change on the planet.
Oh yeah,
is that 2000 body style Chevrolets, because that turn signal housing. You literally just pull it out.
Oh, you don't even have to.
You don't do anything.
Remove anything.
Grab it and pull it out, and then pull the bulbs, and then you just push it back in. That's it. It's literally a clip and a hook, and so it just clicks.
Okay, so it's got like a tang on it.
Not really, but it's like takes 2 seconds to put it in and out. So the sheer fact that people drive around with a bulb burned out,
it's even less excusable.
Yeah, like the Elantra, I have to pull 3 bolts.
Yeah,
and then I have to kind of jimmy it out, and then I got to unplug all the wires before I can pull it totally out, and then I can replace the bulbs. Like the Camry, I've got to remove the front bumper. I've got to take the whole headlight housing. Like there's a ton of stuff just to get like one bulb out. So like I totally understand why people don't like changing stuff.
Yeah,
but the Suburban, you literally just pull the headlight on the lowers. You just pull them out. On the top, you pop the hood and you pull these little arms out, these like rods. You pull them out and then you pull the headlight out. Like
that's how it was in the Volvo.
Fast.
It was one thin metal shim type thing.
Dang,
you just you slip it out and the headlight comes out.
At the store when we go to work today, like I will show you how easy it is. It's so silly to go like, wait, that's all that is. That's literally all you have to do to change out. But like, it doesn't make. There's no excuse for people driving around.
Yeah, there's really not then.
Headlight bulbs on this body style because it's flawless. So, but did that and just kind of hung out. I cleaned up the garage a bit today or last night after I got done with detailing the car and took it over to her house. So Augie's birthday is Tuesday, so we're trying to get all of that ready. But it's kind of funny because today is Carly's sister's birthday. Tomorrow is her husband's birthday, which is, and then Augie's birthday. So Augie and Uncle Zane share the same birthday. And then, Heather, Carly's sister, and Augie are one day apart. So Augie really likes that because he's got someone to share his birthday with because, as families, we do those family birthdays like, oh, I share my birthday with this person the same month. Like, and we have that for, just about each one of us in the family. So Augie, when he figured that out, that he shared it with somebody, he was like super excited that, that he shared his birthday. So today they went to go wish Aunt Heather happy birthday. They made some cards. They're going to run by and see her at work. And so
nice.
Be good. And then tomorrow we're going to do just a little, we'll drive by, say what's up, open presents. I ordered a cake. Took him on Saturday with his mask and his gloves to the Albertsons and let him pick out his birthday cake, which if you guys haven't gone to Albertsons and had a custom made cake yet, you should, just for fun. Anthony, I ask that you just get a cake for like a Wednesday. Just go down, order Happy one, Wednesday. Make it up. Yeah.
Let me go get my Wednesday cake.
Yeah. So here's Augie's cake he picked because they'll make you anything you want. Rainbow cake inside.
Okay.
Vanilla flavored rainbow cake, right? That's what he wanted. 2 layers with strawberry cream in the center.
Oh, now we're talking. Okay.
Covered in buttercream frosting, white buttercream frosting. The whole cake on the side dusted with Fruity Pebbles.
Whoa. Okay.
And then he's got a couple of different colored rosettes put on there with Happy Birthday Augie on top.
That's pretty rad.
The kid designed the whole cake himself.
Oh, man.
They were like, what do you want for the center? What do you want? These flavors? And he was like, what's flavors rainbow? And he saw the picture of it and they were like, it's vanilla. And he's like, that looks cool. And then they were like, here's your centers, like your middle flavor. What do you want? And he was like, oh, like if he didn't have his mask on, he does this thing where he like sticks his tongue out and it like goes like a mile, like like he would have been doing that the whole time he was picking all the stuff out for his cake. So it was pretty great. But yeah, so we had that. So that was my weekend in a nutshell and my upcoming week. But got the airlines installed at the new space. So flooring got laid down. So we were busy with that all week. And then this week I've got a couple more things with the airlines to finish and pressurize. We haven't pressurized the system yet. So I'll probably go around and re-tighten everything if Mark was able to get in there today and do one piece of hard pipe that we're kind of doing a custom thing. I got to hang hose reels, get those all ready to rock and roll. And then we're going to start organizing. So
Now, for that one hose reel, are you going to have to drill into the trussing to do it, or how's that going to attach?
No, it's going up on the wall.
Okay, so it's not going on the trussing behind the sign at all? Because I remember my dad was trying to put it there.
He doesn't. No, your dad doesn't want to put it on the trussing. He wants to put it behind the trussing on the wall.
Now I'm with you. I
on the wall,
hidden back there. Yeah.
So we're going to put it on the back wall behind everything. So it's not going to be as noticeable. You won't see it in videos and stuff, but it's accessible right there in the office. So Morgan, if you need to just hook in some air, blow off your desk, or hook up air gun and just lean it over your cubicle and blast Anthony in the face.
I was going to say, if you just want to irritate coworkers,
it'll be easy access. So.
Yeah, perfect. Great to know. I'll keep that in mind.
Actually, that raises a good point. It means we'll have easily accessible air for the product studio as well. Yep. So it'll be easy to run it over there. And
that's why I put it there. So
no, it's perfect. So, man, this is going to be a fun building. I will say, on the Rag Company podcast Instagram page, you should go check it out, because I'll post a video of a little walk around today. I'll take a new one and kind of show what we've done in there, maybe piece by piece, and just capture some clips so people can kind of see better what's been going on. So that's a free plug for the Rag Company podcast Instagram.
I think that's great. I took my first beard struggle ambassador photo and posted it on my Facebook and Instagram. So,
I saw you wrangle DVK into it.
Use the code Levi15 and get 15% off all your beard products. Anthony got to sample and smell some of them himself on Friday. A few of the
products. I was going to say, Anthony, you go through a lot of beard products, huh?
They make shampoos and conditioners, as well as beard scrub balm, beard balm, day and night oils. The day oils have UV protectants, all kinds of great things.
Oh,
wow.
Cool.
Beard smelling great, feeling great, nice and soft, not prickly and mean.
Yeah, no, soft beard. That's the way to go.
Yeah. So anyway, Anthony, you did something a little crazy this weekend. You basically bought a new car.
Whoa, well, when you look up a person on Facebook and then, questionable things happen, what'd you do?
You basically have a brand new Civic. It's weird.
Yeah, so that wasn't the craziest thing. The craziest thing I did over the weekend, as I kind of was explaining last night in our little group chat, is that basically I've recently been leaving the lid off of my gummy multivitamins.
Oh my God.
That is one of the most amazing things. Carly was dying last night when she read that.
Well, because
that's such an Anthony thing to do.
I'm wanting to spice things up, right? I like my gummy multivitamins. I think they actually taste pretty delicious. The problem was the consistency. They were just
boring.
It's boring. They were too soft. I was able to chew them
out of it
and swallow them within about 10 seconds or so. So what I started doing was leaving the lid off to kind of cause them to become stale, right? And by doing that, the texture has increased tenfold. I mean, I'm getting roughly 30 seconds of chew time out of these multivitamins now. And it really just makes it a treat. Really, the biggest downside is that I can only eat 2 per day. And they do have a high amount of zinc in them, so they kind of leave a little bit of a metallic taste in the mouth. But overall, I would say it is a much better experience with the increased texture of the gummies. And I will continue to do this with all future gummy multivitamins.
They're not fruit gummies anymore. If they're not gummy, you've turned them into fruit leather.
Dane, don't tell me how to live my life, because I think that these are pretty much the best things ever. So anyway, if anybody else wants to try that, or is a connoisseur of gummies and likes high texture gummies such as the Haribo line and all of the other different types of gummies from Germany, then I think that you're really going to like just how textured these are. That was probably the craziest thing I did this weekend. But other than that, what I ended up doing is Friday night was a pretty chill night. Me and Katie stayed inside, made some food, yada, yada, yada. And Saturday, I woke up with the intention I was going to install some stuff on my Civic, but it was a lot more extensive than what I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it today. Sometimes you're just, you want to do something, but you don't want to do the work to do it. So I'm like, you know what? Save this for another weekend. So instead I end up telling Katie I'm going to go walk the junkyard. And she's like, what do you mean walk the junkyard? Is that something people do? I'm like, yeah, it's fun. It's like a treasure hunt.
I'm missing it. I need to go do that.
It's like a treasure hunt, and you never know what you're gonna find. And she's like, are you looking for anything? I'm like, well, not really. I'm just kind of going just to walk it. So I went over to the one over in Nampa, and I paid $1 to get in, started walking through, and that one was, I mean, in terms of the cars I saw there, it was probably one of the most interesting. Quite a few.
This is the one on
Fast and
Garrity
Furious
Boulevard
style cars, yeah. And there was body kits on them. There was all sorts of crazy stuff, and I was just pretty much loving it because, like, right when you see the exterior of the car, right, it's one thing, right? You're like, okay, it's lime green, it's got blue racing stripes on it, the spoiler doesn't even fit properly, it's not even from the right car. I'm like, but I cannot wait to see the interior. That's where this is really going to be something. So
there's going to be some like foot-long shift knob with like bubbles in it or something.
Well, one of them, so I loved it, is a lime green Civic. I open it up, and what's inside? It's a complete red and black skull themed interior, right?
Oh,
with the worst. I'm talking probably like the worst shift knob. It had a skull shift knob on it with little red eyes. But it was an automatic, so that was my favorite part.
That's got to be like straight out of the Fred Meyer car styling section.
And it had pretty much everything that, and so I love that, and I always look forward to that. But as I was walking through the yard, I ended up finding another 99 Civic, and it looked like it was in pretty good shape. And I look at the rear bumper because that's something I've been wanting to replace. And the rear bumper was flawless. I mean, there's no dents, there was no major chips, there was nothing warped in the plastic. And it kind of got me to thinking, like, well, am I gonna, should I take this thing off? Like, should I try to, take this off and eventually get it painted? So I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what, screw it. It's $25. I'm just gonna do it. So I pulled the rear bumper off, paid for it, couldn't fit it in my Civic to save my life. So basically I had to go get the 4Runner, come back, pick it up. And as I'm driving home in the 4Runner, about a week or two ago, I think I mentioned this, I met a painter on Facebook Marketplace, and it was just a guy that had posted up a couple pictures that looked like they were in a shop setting-ish. And I reached out and said, hey, I'm looking to knock out a couple projects on my car. I want to get my door painted. I want to get a new rear bumper, blah, blah, blah. And he basically said, hey, if you could drive out to me in Meridian, which is where I live, he said, I would like, I can check it out and kind of give you a quote. So I drive out to him, super nice guy, like really, really straightforward. He's younger, probably in his early 20s, but you can tell he's really passionate about it, and he knew his stuff. And so started talking with him, a couple weeks ago, and you kind of gave me some quotes on certain things. And I said, all right, well, let's plan on doing this eventually. So on my way home with that rear bumper in my car, I actually just called him up and said, hey, here's the deal. I got this rear bumper. I'd like to get it in for paint. I do have it in the back of my car. And he's like, well, just meet me at my house. So I go and drop it off at his house. And he says, well, I'm going to the shop here in about, an hour or so. Do you want to bring your car down so I can get a color match? And I was like, yeah, I don't got anything going on. So drove down there. Now, for people that don't understand the layout of Boise, right? So basically at Boise, you have your elitist in East Boise, you have, your family people in Meridian, and then you have your rich, high toity people in Eagle, and then you have Nampa and Caldwell. And then so Nampa and Caldwell, the perception is that there's gangs and violence and graffiti and all sorts of stuff over there. That's the perception that people have, right?
It is the perception, because there's a sugar beet factory out there in Nampa, causes the whole place to stink like sweaty sugar beets.
Yeah, and so it's just like, I don't want to say it's the other side of the train tracks, because it's not at all.
It is
actually
the other side of the train tracks.
Okay,
here in East Boise, it's the other side of the train tracks.
All right. But anyway, I don't think it's that bad. I would probably live out there in a nicer neighborhood if I could.
I don't think your wife would.
No, probably not. But anyway, so the perception is that I'm driving out to a shop in Caldwell.
Right.
I'm like, this is not going to be good, right? Like,
now,
yes.
To preface that, there are a lot of great shops, body shops in that area, because rent is very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there are some of the best, some very high-end painters that live out in Nampa and Caldwell have shops out there that are very hidden. They don't let people know. So,
very famous
anyway,
painters.
continue your story.
Yeah.
So I ended up driving out there. I mean, it was pretty far. I mean, I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes from Ontario is basically where I'm at. And so Oregon. And I make it to this shop, right? And I pull up, and the first thing I see is that this is some massive paint and auto body shop. I'm talking like massive. And I pull around and I get out of the car and I greet him. And I'm like, so what is this place? And he's like, oh, we're probably the biggest shop here in Idaho. We have, this many square feet, blah, blah, blah. And I'm pretty much like dumbfounded because I'm thinking I'm going to be taking this to some janky shop. And basically
some guy's garage.
This kid, what he does is the owners are really cool with the shop, and they allow him to paint over the weekends and overnight, after the shop's closed. They basically say, hey, use it as you want, because it's more practice for you, and blah blah blah. And so we walk in there and he's like, all right, we got to get this color match. And so first thing I noticed is the interior of this shop. Not only was it massive, but they have a whole frame adjustment section. They have a whole body shop section. They have a whole paint section. They have a whole finishing section, and it was spotless. It was one of the cleanest, nicest shops that I have ever seen, with some really kind of state-of-the-art paint booths and everything. And so I immediately felt more comfortable. But he goes and grabs his little color match kit, which basically is his little scanner that scans your paint. But not only does he grab that, but he walks over with a whole scan grip kit. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you guys are using scan grip lights? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, we couldn't live without them. They're pretty much a standard for us. And I'm immediately already like, this is amazing, because I haven't been to a shop that has used or utilized scan grips, appropriately. Yeah. So grabs the scan grip, we start going through, he scans the paint, and basically what we've done, and we wanted to scan both rear fenders, and then match that into the rear, the rear quarters basically. So he gets the color match. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, just drop it off. You just leave this here, and I'll try to get it out to you here in a little bit. So I drive home Sunday. It was pretty chill. I did start Ozark. I've made it through 2 episodes, and it's getting pretty good. I actually really like that show so far. So, but pretty chill day. Just did lawn work and all of that. And then at 4:00, he texts me and says, hey, your bumper's ready. I'm going to bring it to my house in Meridian, and we can swap out your old rear bumper then. And he sends me a video, and this thing, I mean, it looked amazing in the video for what I paid. And I drive out to his house, and I see this thing in person, and I'm just going to say that it is quite literally some of the best paint work in terms of his spraying ability that I have seen locally here, and since I've lived here. And I've seen quite a bit of work, and I couldn't believe it. Straight out of the gun, he didn't even finish out the rear bumper. He didn't sand it, he didn't polish it or anything. But the way that gun sprayed is it sprayed so flat and so glossy. It was incredible. I was very, very impressed, and I was super complimentary of him. And basically, I won't have to finish that out. I'm probably just going to polish it and then call it good. But I couldn't have imagined it being any better.
Yeah, so he laid it really flat.
He laid it super flat. And I kind of asked him, I said, hey, well, because he knows that I detail, he knows about the rag company now. And I kind of explained, how much clearer do we got? Because when we were at his shop, he was explaining that with this new system, they used to be with PPG, and they switched to a new system to where basically you're using a lot less product to get a final result. And I kind of explained to him, like, man, I really like a lot of clear, just in case I have to polish things out or whatever. And when I was at his house, he ended up telling me, he's like, yeah, I shot about 3 coats of heavy clear on here, so you're going to be good to go for forever. And I was so thrilled to hear that. And we literally did it right there. Popped off the old rear bumper, put on the new rear bumper, and he charged me $200. And I tossed him a tip because I thought his work was absolutely worth it. So basically what it comes down to is I found my new guy, right? Everybody likes to have a guy in any type of automotive industry, right? You have a windshield guy, you have a PDR guy, you have a paint guy. You want to have a guy that you can go to that's obviously trustworthy and that's going to do good work. And the guy that I had previously here locally, he dropped the ball too many times on too many jobs that I've seen and referrals that I've sent to him, to where his color match wasn't good. His prices got higher for even lower quality work, in my opinion. And I just, I just couldn't keep referring people. I didn't want to go to him. And when he quoted me for a rear bumper, he quoted me $400 for paint. And this guy did it for $200, and I was able to score a junkyard bumper for $25. So all in, I was in at $225, and I have a flawless, minty fresh rear bumper. And so, it's and that's kind of why I was so excited. It's because I have a guy now for that I I can trust and so, I think is going to produce quality work.
That bumper, you didn't have to prep it or anything. You just took it straight from the junkyard.
Yeah, I took it straight to him.
He prepped it.
He prepped it. He did everything. Yeah, and in everybody's eye, in my eyes, I was sitting there thinking, like, this guy probably doesn't know how picky I am, but I'm not going to be overly picky because how affordable it was. So I really was expecting, like, I'm probably going to have sanding marks in this. I'm probably going to have a high amount of orange peel. There's going to be something, and I was accepting that. But the fact that his work just blew me away so much that I don't know. I was just extremely impressed. I would have him paint any one of my cars in a heartbeat because of the work he did. So, but basically he's looking to take on more side projects and stuff like that. He prefers smaller things. So
I've got a spoiler, a factory spoiler. I've got that rear little spot above the where you put the key in for the trunk on the Elantra. It's starting to fade out, and then the rear bumper is starting to peel. So there's I got a rear bumper and 2 small pieces that I can toss him and see what he wants to do and get those shoes.
I got a roof.
Dane's got a roof, and Dane, you've also got those supercharged vents that are starting to fade out.
Now those may be wrapped soonish, but that's still a good point.
Yeah, but you could pop them out and get them painted, and then later this summer get them wrapped.
Yeah,
but that way
those vents are
underneath.
I believe they're gel coat, if I recall correctly. When I was talking with Ivan, he said they were gel coat. So that's something I should do. No, I was saying famously, Jimmy has a guy for everything.
You gotta have a guy.
I was just like, a guy. I got my guy. Yeah, my wheel guy, my lift guy.
I had that. I've got a wheel lift guy. I've got I used to have a painter, but my painter actually disappeared. So he used to be right down the street from my shop, and he's an old friend of mine for about 20 years, and great painter. Awesome painter, but like a lot of people in the industry, they come from a rough background. They more and more the trades are becoming, there's a higher quality character of person that are running the businesses like an entrepreneur and not as just a job. There's good hardy folk that are actually running this stuff now. My guy was one of those guys that just grew up in hard Scrabble and kind of got stuck doing some drugs and got stuck having to deal with just life, and his shop suffered because of it. He had talent and was phenomenal at what he did, but he had a devil on his back, and he had to take care of that. And so it's nice though when you have a guy that you can throw something and go, hey man, I need you to take care of this for me. That was how it was at my shop. If I had an employee that burned through a fender, or I had an employee that would scuff a fender or bumper or something on a customer's car, he was right down the street. I could take that car and drop it off and say, hey man, I need you to fix this for me. And he'd $50, $100, he'd just shoot that piece, take care of it. It was perfect. And we were able to take care of the rest of it. But it's nice when you have that. So kudos to Anthony for finding this person for us.
I know. And I was joking around with him, like, hey man, I'm like, to be honest, like when, I was telling everybody, I'm like, I found this Facebook painter, and he shoots out in Caldwell. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, you went out, you found a Facebook painter, like that's not going to turn out good. And so I really, it wasn't just because my expectation was so, greatly surpassed. It was just literally just how good the work was. And so, like I said, I'm super excited. I'm going to be taking my door to him. I'm just going to leave him with the whole car, and he's going to be able to get my door back to being color matched.
Yeah, your door. That'll be so much better.
Yeah. And at that point, Dane, my car will be all of one color.
Yeah.
And I will be super happy, because basically what I want to do is I want to get everything fixed, and then I do want to polish it out, because I've only polished it out once since I've owned it. And then after I polish it, I do want to coat it. I'm thinking maybe Crystal Serum Light topped with EXO would be a pretty cool combination there. So I'm just super thrilled. So that's why I'm trying to spread the word. Anybody locally that needs a guy that can lay some seriously good paint for a really affordable price. I mean, don't be afraid to hit me up, and I can give you his contact info. So that was pretty much it. Sunday night, I just did a lot of gawking and looking at the rear bumper and how good it looked. Then I continued watching a little bit more Ozark and a little bit more of the Dead to Me show, and so which is pretty funny. And that was pretty much it. And so that was my weekend.
Nice. No, that's always nice to hear stories like that. And I mean, I get it on one sense. There's probably going to be some folks who are watching who, know amongst detailers where we talk about, well, don't undersell your services and stuff like that. In this case, it sounds like this guy's fairly young. He's trying to get practice under his belt. He's not always going to be this price. My guess is he's going to build himself up until he can get to a point where maybe he runs his own shop or he does something like that. And spreads his wing and flies. He's a peacock. He's got to fly.
Right, but it's the same. It's the same thing as like a $200 detail, and that's what I was telling Anthony. It's like there are, I do $200 details for a lot of friends and family, and it's about adjusting the services of what you can do to hit that number. And it's really the difference between what the price is for side work and what the price is as a business. Right. So when it's side work, it's gravy. It's literally just extra spending money, and if you're being able to do 200 to 250 a weekend, these projects, or a couple hundred, I mean, he may be making extra 500 to $2,000 a month. Yeah. Just extra money, which is like what I do with what I'm doing here. It's just extra cash that I have in the household to cover stuff that we have come up. We notoriously use it for, Augie. Now, if I had reopened MOSHQ and this is my livelihood now, that price changes. Yeah. The
that's an important distinction
becomes
to make.
Something else, and, but I'm thankful that I have a job that pays my bills, and then I have a skill that I can create a hobby that makes us money, just like the way, when Morgan works on cars to clean them up and stuff for friends and family as well. It's just extra money, it's just cash on hand for whatever you need, or same reason Anthony does it. They're just, it's extra cash because we all have a job already, but none of us were doing this. We wouldn't be doing,
no, your priorities would shift anymore, for sure,
because we'd have bigger bills to cover. And that's the key. And again, like Anthony said, it's awesome that he's got bosses that see this as a learning experience for him and the ability to get some more time under his belt. Because, the rule I've always kind of lived by is that 10,000 hour rule. Like Malcolm Gladwell states, it's 10,000 hours to become a master at something, and not be a master, but to master a skill. And so you have to have 10,000 hours of something before you can feel really confident behind it. And to get those hours, you got to put in the work, and you got to figure out how you can get that time. And so this kid's probably getting his 40 hours a week, and that gun time that he's probably getting is maybe a total of 12 hours a week. So he's trying to add that by, hey, I'm going to shoot Anthony's bumper. I'm going to do this project. I'm going to do this project. He just wants to try and create that and get that time frame shortened.
Yeah. So, if I were to guess, I would say he's probably got about 2 to 4 years of doing this sort of thing before he really kind of comes into his own and starts, doing his own thing. Like,
well, you look at
branches off and creates it,
but it's like that with anything
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of folks. It doesn't matter what trade it is. Once you get that, you feel comfortable. I look at vinyl wrapping.
Mm-hmm.
The number of actual hours I have trying to wrap something is only double digits, not even triple digits yet.
Yeah.
And I look at it and go like, oh my gosh. I look at leather repair. That's not even double digits.
Oh.
I'm not there yet. So those are the kind of projects that I'd be doing. Hey, let me play with that. Let me, you got a tear in the seat, like on that Mustang this weekend. I was looking at like, oh my gosh, if only had some of those products, I could have worked on this.
Yeah.
Just for the educational part, because whatever I would do would make it better. Whatever I would have done would have made it better for her. So, it's just the garnering of those hours.
Yeah, those opportunities are all around us. So that's just one of those things. Keep your eye out, and where you can, exercise them. It's good to have multiple skills. So, yeah. No, I was going to point out, you mentioned Ozark. I was going to say that's a great show. I started that a while back, but I haven't gotten too far into it because the day we were watching it was like, okay, that's enough dark show for today. But then Liz went off and did her own thing, and I started watching this other show, which I think Anthony at least will really enjoy because he has a sick, twisted, dark sense of humor like me.
I do have a sick, twisted.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so, it's kind of sick. Yeah.
Let me pitch you this. So Christopher Maloney. Christopher Maloney in Law and Order SVU, and him in Wet Hot American Summer. What if you combine those two characters and you put them in a show?
I like all those things, Dane.
And there's a show called Happy that was on the Sci-Fi Network, and it's insane. It's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I don't watch sci-fi shows like the channel shows, but this one came up on Netflix recently, and they have 2 seasons of it. And he talks to basically an imaginary friend, a little animal, and it's voiced by Patton Oswalt. And it is bonkers because it's directed by one of the guys who did Crank. So the entire thing is just insane. And I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but it is sick, twisted, hilarious. Christopher Maloney is insane, bad cop, but it's funny and horribly dark. And yes, there are a lot of things in it that are just really wrong, but I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there as so check it out if you're into that stuff.
Carly and I watched because you could buy This Is the End for $5 on Prime,
This Is the End.
In HD, and we rewatched that, and I forgot how perfectly funny that movie is, and
Michael Cera right at the beginning.
It is so funny. So we watched that last night, and then the other one that we're almost done with is Norseman. I recommend you guys go back and rewatch that series because I forgot so much of it and remembered saw so many other parts that it was absolutely like just I died. It was so funny. It's such a great, perfect show. I can't wait for season 3, which I read is a prequel.
Oh,
so it's going to be a season 0 is what they're calling it.
Okay.
So
that's a new way to do it. Sure.
Yeah.
So in terms of movies, I don't know if you guys heard, they have pushed back pretty much every single major movie that was going to be coming out this spring and this summer. And
was it Fast 9 and Wonder Woman 1984?
Fast 9 was literally pushed back an entire year. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? A whole year? And then the other movie I was looking forward to was the new Top Gun movie. That being pushed back to December sucks as well. So
they announced that I was reading the Idaho reopen plan. And it's looking like it's going to be almost end of June. End of June, as long as no more cases spike it's like a 4-part system.
Okay. So they moved it from May to June.
No, it's June 31st. So May 1st is when they're going to start opening everything. And it's a 4-part plan over the course of 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks or every week, basically, they're going to, it's every 2 weeks. So first part is the first 2 weeks of May. Second part is the last 2 weeks of May. Third part is the first 2 weeks of June. And then part 4 is the last 2 weeks of June. And so as each 2-week session goes, and as long as there's no increase in infection, then the next part gets will be available. Basically, they, if part 1 goes okay and there's no increase, then now we're into part 2. If part 2 is okay, no increase, then we go into part 3. But if we hit part 3 and we have an increase in symptoms, we're back to part 1.
So is the plan when they do the different stages, is each stage basically opening up like a smaller business that requires a smaller number of people to be together, and they gradually go up a chain until they reach bigger numbers until like concert venues are open?
Yes. So basically it's saying Idaho's saying that like it's not until like part 3 that movie theaters can reopen.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And
bars and restaurants.
And that's middle of June.
Okay.
So one of the neat things though is the Parma Motor View, which is about an hour away from us, is the last of the drive-ins in our area.
Which is actually a decent way to watch nowadays.
They are reopening. They are opening April 24th.
Smart.
Because they can.
Wait, didn't that already happen?
No,
it's April. Well,
it's April 27th.
Yeah, so it happened 2 days ago. So they opened on Friday. And that was one of the neat things is that at least, but they're showing, because they don't have movies that are really new releases, they're showing like Onward and there's one other movie that they're showing. But a neat idea, going forward, that's something that there should be some space for, and it's probably something people could, new businesses that could be being opened is a drive-in theater. Yeah. Because of the whole, this is one of those things that we were saying. It's like 9/11. Stuff changed. The way we handled ourselves changed.
Yeah.
I think customers and folks are gonna not need to rely so much on the personal, sitting there. And honestly, is killer stereos and systems that we have in cars now, like this was popular in the 50s and 60s with like horrible AM radio.
Oh, they'll do it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or something now, as opposed to through your radio.
Dude, with a sub setup. Oh my God, that would be nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. A clean windshield and a nice stereo. Dane could take the truck, and Liz. Oh, Callie, you guys
park it backwards.
Back it up, sit in some lawn chairs, or just sit in the bed, put an air mattress in there, throw the dog.
The only thing that could go wrong is that if for some reason all the Bluetooth receivers were just slightly off sync, and then
it's like a micro delay, and then it all just.
But there's a house in my neighborhood that does the Christmas lights. All synced to music, and they have it set to a radio station, and it's crystal clear and sounds great. And I'm really impressed with the technology nowadays. And so
it's certainly possible.
I saw there are some parking lots in Utah, in Provo and Orem. I saw some of Carly's cousins and stuff posting. They were doing their own drive-in movies where people were putting up like one person brought this massive screen, put it up, and then another person brought the projector and everything. And then people just pulled up in their cars and then set their radios to the signal, and then just watched a movie in an empty parking lot at night. Like, great idea.
Nice.
Like, so much easier to do. And it's just, I think we're going to see a lot of that going forward this summer. And I'm excited. For one, I'm very excited about it. So
badass. Yeah, no, I think that that is one of the things though that me and Katie were talking about. She's like, what do you miss the most? You miss going out to dinner? And I was like, you know what, dude, I kind of just miss going to movies. Like, I love going to the movies. And now, even with them reopening in June, though, you have to think about it. What releases are going to even be out? If everybody's pulling or pushing back the releases, I'm guessing they're just going to keep playing the same stuff that they had before all this happened.
That was, Carly and I were big fans of movies. That was one of our things we used to do before we had kids. Like, we loved we'd go to movies all the time. And that was one of the reasons, once we had kids, we were just kind of stuck at home more. And it only was last year that we were able to take both kids to a movie and actually sit through a movie together as a family. And we were like, holy crap, this is amazing. But that was one of the features of buying this house, was to create our theater so that we didn't have
amenity.
to worry about
the
that.
MOS.
It's an amenity,
package.
But it's something that but it was something that Carly and I had on our list of like, we want a spot where we can sit and watch movies and have everything we need. We want a fridge, we want a big TV, we want surround sound, we want the big couch, we want to be able to hang out, and this room is only for this. And that's what we were able to create. But it was because of that feeling, Anthony. Only mine was self-inflicted because I had children.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say there's one big thing to consider there.
Like, oh, I just miss going to a movie, So.
This is where you saw some kind of experimentation with this. And granted, like Steven Soderbergh was one of the first to do this, like well over a decade ago, where they do this simul release, where it was basically the home VOD release and the theater release. They did it like with Trolls movie or something, the recent one.
Well, no, they did it with Onward.
Well, okay,
Onward was in the theater. Onward was getting ready to launch in the theater. Then all this happened,
and then they moved. Release. But they did that with a few movies where they sped up the release. But the Trolls one, the thing about the Trolls was it had not been released in theaters, and they decided as a move to be like, okay, it's a lot of families, they're at home, we can budget. Okay, let's just release it on home video. If it doesn't do well, we'll kick it out. Or it's actually like $20. It was like $19 or something.
$10,
like a theater price.
If you rent it, it's $10. If you buy it, then you pay $20. But it's a rental for 24 hours. It's $10, so it's more than the normal rental. I know this because I rented Onward for the kids.
Okay, Onward might be that, but the Trolls one was different because I was looking to see what the home release thing was.
Yeah, I've got it on Prime.
Okay.
So the point was that this is the killer, Dane. I rented on Prime, via Prime, through their release, Onward. Paid $10.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, Disney Plus just released it for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like,
cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So
thanks,
the point here being
2 more weeks.
The move was there are enough people who have decent setups at home now that you could potentially do a simul release. And in the future, when the theaters are back open again, the theater brings its own experience. You want to watch a movie like 1917. I personally would go to a theater to watch a movie like that.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been amazing.
There's definitely a market for releasing both at the same time. I know these studios and stuff, they get wrapped up and we have to time the release of these things to maximize the output, the profit we get out of it. But a lot of times I think a VOD release at the same time would actually net you more because it's a hot property at the time. Get people in on it. I know they try and stretch it out by releasing the home video release date like a few months down the line when it's gone out of theaters, and then hey, you're interested again. But I do see a real benefit to just releasing both at the same time and letting it be its own thing that way, just for future releases, because you could really maximize people who watch your property at the time, and then maybe they do repeat viewings later on. But at least what I saw on Apple TV, it was $19 for the thing, as opposed to going to a theater. So you're not renting it. You're literally it's like going to a theater and paying for a ticket is how they treated it. So that's
and there are a bunch of them that are
you're looking at.
Yeah.
So that was basically it. But I'm a little disappointed that more movies didn't do it that way. However, I can see them being skittish about really taking their big property, like a Marvel movie comes out. They went long and hard before they actually tried releasing something like that. But until a really big movie like that does that, you're not going to see that transition to that model until a really big movie, is ballsy enough to actually go out and try that method.
Yeah.
Where we're sitting. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody does it. But right now it doesn't look that way. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
It is interesting. It's great to see the way that certain companies are starting to do. There's issues here in Boise. One of the big things with that plan is the question of bars versus restaurants or restaurant bars. They're basically stating that bars can't open until the end of June, but restaurants that have a bar in them are allowed to open almost a month earlier, 2 weeks, 3 weeks earlier, if they have an appropriate seating plan. And so other bars are kind of upset about that because they're like, you can't technically social distance properly around a table
No, I guess
food,
their really arbitrary logic is that a bar is a more intimate setting for a lot of people. So
that's
you're
what they're
closer
saying.
together.
But
that's probably their argument.
But the bars
I find it to be stupid, though. There's no difference in reality.
No, and that's what the bar
and a restaurant holds more people than a bar does, more often than not. So that's just that's a little bit of
So that's the only gray area that a lot of I've seen a lot of people on Facebook about is those bar owners coming in and going like, "Whoa, Governor Little, this doesn't make sense."
Yeah, I don't buy that argument.
And
not that I
think that the other thing is they've opened houses of worship. They're opening houses of worship, which
that's like a movie theater though too. It's the same general proximity to everybody, and it's a large.
But they're not opening a movie theater, and so they're saying, "Well, you can go, but you have to have social distancing." And I'm like, so now you got old people.
Good luck.
You've got there's some things that
I had relatives who were doing like Catholic and Episcopalian relatives of mine were doing like digital services.
Yeah, there's still a lot of digital stuff going on, and that's fine. But I just think you're putting more people at risk, especially some of the elderly folks that are a little more. They go there to visit with friends and see folks and get their fix, so to speak. And it doesn't make sense to me to open that first when that's a hard spot to control.
Well,
really,
it just becomes an arbitrary thing. And of course I can understand where, folks who are religious would be more passionate about, I really want my stuff to be open and all that. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just a general safety concern. It's a larger group of people than a lot of these other things being opened up. It's just basic statistics, basic math. You're more exposed in that environment. You're all in the same room. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this up. We're starting to lose our listeners, I think.
Oh, it's okay. Just when I get interested, I get it.
Sorry, Dane.
No, I know. I like to go down the rabbit hole and stuff, but I appreciate you humoring me a little bit at least. All right. So, folks, if you're listening, write down in the comments. What do you think? I'm curious. Like, do you buy that whole bar restaurant thing, or does that seem kind of goofy to you? It feels arbitrary to me. Anything else you want to add before we go here, guys?
No, just thank you guys for staying in on with these podcasts with us. We've been trying to put them out as much as we can. We've got a lot that have been coming out with various guests.
There's a lot that still haven't been released that we recorded like 2 weeks ago.
Tim's working feverishly to get a lot of those out. We just didn't want to like bombard and dump a new one every day on you, but we've been recording just about every day with folks. And I think some of the ones that are coming out, I think you'll be really impressed about. And excited to see those folks and hear from them. We've reached out to some other guests that we want to get in on the podcast.
Now, I will say before somebody decides to harass in the comments, if you hear information in one of the podcasts where you're like, that's not true, it's because we probably recorded it 2-3 weeks ago and the situation on the ground has changed or something. So just understand that. But the conversations themselves are excellent. And I really look forward to you guys being able to hear it all.
Yep.
Okay, so that said, guys, make sure you're subscribed here to the Rag Company podcast on YouTube, as well as the Rag Company channel on YouTube. Click the bell so you actually know when we're releasing new content. Always very helpful. And if you're a true super fan, we trust you've already done that, but it never hurts to remind people just in case. So, all right, guys, this is us saying adios. See ya.
See ya.